Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the virtual Talladega Superspeedway for tonight's running of Ron Morris Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder here on the Ghost Racing Network. My name is Dawson Wise. I'm going to be solo up here in the booth tonight. Austin Green, other commitments this evening, but I'll be bringing you all the action nonetheless as qualifying wraps up here at this 2.66 mile oval, and we get ready for another exciting week of Tuesday Night Thunder. We'll have the starting grid for you here in a moment. Qualifying wrapping up right as we speak. 60 laps in the Xfinity Series cars here at NASCAR's biggest and baddest track tonight. We're getting them on the grid. We're ready to go. I hope you are as well. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight on a beautiful Tuesday night for racing, wherever you may be. 22 cars have made the trip tonight to Talladega Superspeedway as we get ready to put them under the green flag for the first time. We'll get right into your starting grid here from Talladega Superspeedway as these guys start to take to the racetrack tonight. And we will get right into it. On the pole, a quick time of 53.831. The driver of the 31, Garrett Maines. To his outside on row number 1, it'll be the 03 of Kenny McCullough Jr. for McCullough Motorsports. Row 2, it'll be the 6 of Cody Nagels and the 44 of Andrew Navarro. Starting 5th will be Dylan Jones. In the 11, last week's race winner. To his outside, the NBG entry of Matthew Baker in the 5. Row 4 will be David Sheets in the 06 and Matt Lee in the 04. And rounding out the top 10 will be Jeff Merck in the 60 and Michael Triscaro in the 34. Starting 11th, one of the dominant drivers of the season, Daniel Eberhardt. He'll roll from P11. Mark Vondell will roll from 12th. Starting 13th will be John Mullahan. Starting 14th will be Logan York. Cole Fitzpatrick rolls from 15th. To his outside will be Jared Mogar in the 00. Brock Westmoreland starts from 17th. Chris McCullough in the 18th position. Mike Davenport rolls from 19th with Tony Cox in 20th. And the last two cars shotgun on the field tonight, Danny Eshelman in the 26 and Hyper Motorsports' John Ward in the 92. 22 off the holler, 22 ready to go for another incredible week here at Talladega Superspeedway. These guys have been seriously improving the racing, and of course, late into the party is the married man Matthew Baker. We'll get him out of the way here. Of course, he crashes my thunder here. No pun intended, but as we get going, speaking of that, we do have 6 guys carrying driver cameras for us here tonight. Baker was just a little bit late to the party. We'll get him back up there here for a second. Driver of the 5. He carries one of our cameras here for us tonight. And we'll get to some of the other guys that have them here as well. The man rolling from 3rd, Cody Nagels. He has a camera for us as well here tonight. As we roll off the grid, there is the man driving the 6. After him, it's Michael Triscaro in the 34, the big boss man over at PGR. He rolls from 9th position this evening. Also carrying a camera for us tonight, it's the 04 of Matt Lee. He'll roll from position number 8 tonight. Rolling from 12th, the driver of the 60, Jeff Merck. He's got his camera running for us here tonight from Talladega. The final man with an onboard camera, the man starting 16th, Tony Cox in the 72. We've got 6 cameras for you. We will reference them throughout the night, see how these drivers are tackling this race here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. Happy that you have joined me. We are ready to get this one underway. What a race it is going to be. Glad to see everybody out there in the chat. Heath, Job. Heath, always good to see you, brother. Hope you are doing well. Sean Doyle. I'll make sure I let him know. Baker's mom, good to see you. Baker rolling from 6th position here tonight in the 5 machine. And so here we go, 60 laps from the Talladega Superspeedway. Getting ready to get underway. The pace car will take its first left-hand turn onto the pit lane. Garrett Maines will have the field here for our first start of the night. Glad you have joined me here on a Tuesday night. It's time for Tuesday Night Thunder. 22 men ready to go to battle here at Talladega. Who's going to get their first win of the season? Are we going to have a repeat winner? How is this one going to pan out? I cannot wait. Into the trial for the first time, Garrett Maines in the 31 brings the field to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We are racing for Tuesday Night Thunder. Lap 1 done and over with. Kenny McCullough leading that lap that time by at the line. Fast and furious action here at the front of the field so far. Third line working. Cole Fitzpatrick in the 11 tonight, I believe. No, he's actually in the 4. So he did get the 4 in this session tonight. Michael Triscaro says, I'll do you one better. He's going to jump up there right up in front of that top lane. He wants to go to the top, go to work immediately. 4 cars up there. Nagels, top to bottom, underneath Andrew Navarro in the 44. Now Navarro and McCullough used to see the 90 with the 44 tonight. It's the 03 as they both clear to the bottom in front of Cody Nagels. Nagels and Maines say they're taking the same thing on the same wavelength. Up to the top they go. Matt Lee, Logan York with them. Triscaro trying to find a spot in line in front of Chris McCullough as the third line fades. Here comes Cody Nagels. Huge run to the outside for the 6. Pushed by Garrett Maines at the line. Give the advantage to the 6 for NBG Motorsports. Garrett Maines all over his back bumper. Fast, furious, 2-wide action here at the front. You can tell these guys are moving quick here in turns 1 and 2. We've seen the high speeds all season long to this point. No different tonight. High 190s underneath these hoods tonight. They're going to be flying. And as they come down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch here on lap 3, that is exactly the case. These guys are ripping. John Ward already a lap down, unsure what happened on the 92 machine. We'll try to get an update for you later on if we can. Through 3 and 4, now off of turn number 4. Kenny McCullough continuing to lead the bottom line. Very strong. Here as we work onto the front stretch once again. Third line trying to get going, but they just can't seem to get anything rolling. Here comes Nagels, another strong surge to the outside in the 6. He's got help from Garrett Maines. Bottom side, McCullough, Navarro, and last week's winner, Dylan Jones. What a win it was for Dylan Jones last week in Atlanta. What a great race. He ran a perfect race execution style on the rest of the field and managed to get the job done. It was a great win for Dylan Jones, a statement win for Jones last week in Atlanta. He sees if he can go back-to-back here tonight. Nagels dead even with McCullough, still 2 wide. Chris McCullough, Brock Westmoreland have tried to get something working up on the high side. They just can't seem to get anything rolling. Off of turn number 4, they're going to try it once again, try to work their cars up to the top side of the racetrack. Now they fade back in line. Everybody 2 wide. We will have a stage break at lap 20. So no surprise, hot and heavy here early on in the going. Nagels leads, Maines behind him. Bottom side still McCullough and Navarro. Logan York, Daniel Eberhardt, Matthew Baker, all waiting in the wings, as is David Sheets. As the field really settles out to 2 wide all the way back, making about the first 6 rows double file. A couple of stragglers. Then you have the tail end of the field just laying back saying, I don't like what I see at all. Top side, Daniel Eberhardt. He's got Chris McCullough. Now they might have enough cars to make it work as the 90's willing to go upstairs to the top shelf. Here he comes for the first time. 3 wide, multiple rows deep, as Eberhardt down on the door of Garrett Maines. He's trying to make that line work. They are making some hay, but not enough. They're actually only stalling the middle line out. Kenny McCullough able to clear right back to the lead. Going to stay parked down there on that yellow line. Now we are 3 wide for the lead for the first time. Here comes Daniel Eberhardt. Up on the outside, Logan York, Brock Westmoreland say, I want to join the fun. Now the third lane's got all kinds of energy, and the 90's going to poke his nose out front for the first time today. Into turns 1 and 2. Eberhardt still pushed by the 94 of Chris McCullough. Middle is now only Nagels, Maines, and Lee. Bottom side, McCullough, Navarro, Jones, and now Matthew Baker has filed into the bottom. Eberhardt pokes the nose out front now officially for the first time tonight. He leads down the back straightaway and off into turn number 3. Nagels to the bottom. That's going to allow Eberhardt to maybe get down to the middle. Matt Lee's all over the place. Trouble. Around goes Dylan Jones and Andrew Navarro. Navarro trying to keep it together. Still trying to keep it together. He does. Somehow he keeps that car going straight. No caution. We're going to keep it green. Navarro way off the pace. Field is all kinds of spread out. We got to go back up front. And this has spread the field out in a big way. Top 8 cars, make it 7 cars, are in this lead group. Nagels, McCullough, Eberhardt, Chris McCullough, Garrett Maines, Logan York, and Brock Westmoreland. Then from there you have a second group led by Jeff Merck. It also contains Dylan Jones, Cole Fitzpatrick, and Matthew Baker. David Sheets trying to hang between these 2 groups, and Matt Lee, Jared Mogart, John Mollahan make up what has quickly become almost a third group. It's going to become 2, and then the third group back here is led by Danny Eschleman. Well, actually, Eschleman's not even really with this group, but then you have Navarro, Davenport, Cox, Triscaro, Vondell, and Ward. Up front, 7 cars getting racy. Lap 7 on the board. D3 to the lead for the first time now by a full car length here off turn number 4. through the tri-oval. He will lead this time by on lap number 7. So the Navarro incident saw Navarro get loose, get onto the apron, kept it going, but it split the field up in a big way. Lucky for those drivers, a stage coming up here in about 12 laps. So for now, no harm, no foul. You just have to take a breath as a driver and realize, okay, we got a stage break coming up. Let's just take it easy. Try to get single file. This second group, by the way, has gotten single file. They're starting to pick up time. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get back to this group the pace they're going. They need to pick it up just a little bit more. But they've got a good few cars here at the front of that group that they can try to make up some ground. With Garrett Maines and Logan York running 2 wide, they're actually pulling this group backwards just a little bit. As a side draft, almost contact there in the trial between Kenny McCullough and Garrett Maines. How did they keep it off of each other? And now with Eberhardt going to the top, this is going to seriously slow this lead group down. That second group is really starting to pick up time. They picked up 2 tenths just on the last about half a lap. Now they pick up another 10th here in turns 1 and 2. Yeah, they are coming in a hurry. Take a look back here. I have no idea, by the way, why the camera cut is so quick tonight. I'm trying not to cut too many times if I don't have to. But I did just happen to notice that the cut is extremely fast, so we're doing what we can here. Off turn number 4, you see that front group up ahead. We're looking at the group led by Jeff Merck, which is the second group on the racetrack. Up here is the lead group, led by Eberhardt, Nagels, McCullough, Maines, York, Chris McCullough, and Brock Westmoreland. So you can see that gap. It is close in a hurry. There you see that second group. We'll actually try to give you a little bit better look here down the backstretch. They are closing that gap in a big-time hurry. Jeff Merck, he is already in draft range. They're going to have a huge run when they get here. It's going to be the question of what do they do with it. Maines dropped to the bottom in front of Cody Nagels. They're going to go to the lead. Logan York, Daniel Eberhardt, very separated. Here comes Jeff Merck. Where does he take this run? He's going to have a heck of a run on these cars now. Does he decide to go third line? He's going to have a lot of belt-up speed. That's exactly where he's going to go. Top side, up top shelf. Jeff Merck in the 60. Maines continues to lead. Merck in the 60 with Dylan Jones up in the top side. Now Maines up to the middle trying to block the 60, but you can just tell the amount of speed they are carrying here through 1 and 2. Dylan Jones doing an excellent job pushing the 60 of Jeff Merck. And because of that, he will go to the race lead here off turn number 2 and down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch one more time. Jeff Merck, new leader here at Talladega. He's going to get clear of the middle. May try to bring Dylan Jones with him, and he will. He'll leave Jones the middle. He'll drop to the bottom to the safety of his teammate Cody Nagels in the 6. So once again, one incorporated group here at the front of the field. It'll be Merck versus Jones for the lead. Inside 10 laps to go in stage number 1. Our only stage break of the race coming up at the conclusion of lap number 20. Dylan Jones goes to the race lead. They'll leave Garrett Maines the top in front of Daniel Eberhardt in the 90. A lot of shuffling going on up here at the front of the field. Bottom line has the most energy here, the most coordination. Middle line trying to get it back as Eberhardt, I would think, is trying to cool off. That 90 has been the pusher here for a while. Down the backstretch one more time. Dylan Jones continues to lead, but now Garrett Maines begins to draw even as the push comes back to the top. Jeff Merck pushing Dylan Jones on the bottom. He's got his teammate lined up to him. And still 2 wide, about 6 rows deep now off turn number 4 and down into the trial one more time. You can tell how fast they're going. The speeds have been elevated here all season long. We've seen them going off into turn number 3 at about 197, 198 miles an hour, which, if you're not familiar with these Xfinity Series cars, they're not built to go quite that fast on these tracks under typical conditions. But a custom setup underneath these cars, a handcrafted setup that has allowed these cars to both go faster and handle better. That was a comment we got a lot early in the season, is that the cars don't handle very well at all, especially not when you're the pushing car. And obviously they found a solution for it because the pushing has gotten so much more aggressive this season. Even just as this season has gone along, just from the beginning of this season, it just has gotten so much more aggressive. Dylan Jones to the race lead off turn number 4. He's got big-time help from the one of Garrett Maines on the bottom. Really just the two NBG teammates there out in front of Kenny McCullough, and that line is disconnected here in a hurry. 7 laps to go, stage number 1. Top side 4, make it 5 if you count Cole Fitzpatrick, who's kind of just been riding up on the top. I think he just kind of wants to bail out, and that's exactly what he's been doing. And so for the time being, it'll stay 2 wide here up at the front of the field. Make it 3v3. As now Dylan Jones finds a gap at the bottom. Allows Garrett Maines to cool that engine down just a little bit up top. Maines now pushed by Daniel Eberhardt. 2 of the more dominant drivers of this season. The 1 and the 90. Pit stops here on lap 14. And this is going to get interesting. Bunch of guys locking the brakes. Matthew Baker's in the inside wall. And they are wrecking big here on pit road. Matthew Baker, Brock Westmoreland, Matt Lee, Jeff Merck, John Mullahan. A crash on pit road. And Baker still trying to get that car righted. Still backwards is the 5. A rare mistake by these drivers getting onto pit road, and it harms them in a big way. Jones, Eberhardt, Maines, Chris McCullough, Cole Fitzpatrick, David Sheets opt to stay out. Back down to 45% fuel tonight for this race, which means more pit stops, and you saw it right there, a mistake. You'd imagine this group would come this time. Let's see if they make any mistakes. Looks like everybody seems to be okay. They're coming in a little hot, though. Eberhardt's going to have to lock him up. He's going to be lucky if he wasn't speeding at the entry line. We'll take a look here and wait just a second, see if Eberhardt is going to have to stop in his box for an extra penalty. We'll take a look back there in a moment. Andrew Navarro has inherited the race lead. Danny Eshelman, Michael Triscaro, Tony Cox, Mike Davenport with him, along with the lap machine of John Ward, who missed the start of the race. These cars will have to pit here next time by. And yeah, that group led by Logan York, Matt Lee, John Mullahan, Cody Nagels, Jeff Merck, and Brock Westmoreland lost a huge amount of time on pit road. So much so they're not even going to have the draft of these lead cars, I don't think. Looks like York and Lee might. The rest of those cars, I don't believe, are going to have any shot at it off turn number 4. These cars are going to continue to stay out. They were able to save fuel most of that first run. No surprise they can go a little bit further as we approach the end of stage number 1. 4 laps to go in the stage. You can tell they're actually saving. Looks like they're saving right now. Navarro, Eshelman, Triscaro, Tony Cox may be trying to stretch this all the way to the end of stage 1. That would be a 20-lap run, which is a little bit unheard of on these short fuel stints. We'll see if they can get the job done. We'll take a look at where these guys cycled out after pit stops. Garrett Maines, Dylan Jones, Chris McCullough, Daniel Eberhardt. This is dream scenario for them as they have re-inherited the lead. Off turn number 2, these guys still very incorporated together, but losing time. Here comes the last cycle of pit stops. Navarro, Eshelman, Triscaro, Cox, and Davenport. They bring along with them John Ward. They get onto pit road with no mistakes. Almost a mistake right there. Almost some contact between Navarro and Ward, but they managed to hold it together. Kenny McCullough is going to go a lap down here as Garrett Maines passes him. You see Chris McCullough is going to try to pick him up and make him keep the draft at the very least. I don't know if it'll be enough. 3 laps to go, stage number 1. The race leader now, once again, is Garrett Maines. You see Kenny dropping in behind Chris. They lost a lot of time there in turn 1. I think they're just trying to get to where Kenny is going to be the lead, the lucky dog car, and as of right now, he will be. Here is Matthew Baker. He's also a lap down, as is Mark Vondell. And Baker going to get stuck a lap down if it stays the way it is. Matt Lee is with that group. Let's check in on Cody Nagels. He and Jeff Merck and John Mullahan got the worst of this exchange. And so with 3 laps to go in the stage, make it 2 as Garrett Maines flashes by the start-finish line. These guys are nowhere to be found here. A rare set of mistakes. I can't say I was expecting that many high-caliber drivers to make a mistake on the pit entry, but nonetheless they do. And now up top side, here comes Eberhard. They're going to race for the Stage 1 victory. They realize with only Chris McCullough behind them, they don't have much to lose right here. And they go right on by Garrett Maines. Now Garrett, there's not much he can do. He doesn't have any help. He's riding third. They just backed up and went around him. Garrett may have one more look at this. If he can get Chris McCullough back into the fold here, they're going to have one opportunity to make it happen and try to win this stage. Through the trial, will be 1 lap to go. Stage number 1. Daniel Eberhard, Dylan Jones, Garrett Maines, Chris McCullough, the cars that are going to race it out for the stage victory. Here comes Maines. He's about a car length off the back bumper of Dylan Jones. Chris McCullough is 2 car lengths back of Garrett. He may get one chance at it. Eberhard makes that car wide. They actually move up to the middle. They're going to make Garrett Maines go either around them on the top or around them on the bottom. Here comes Maines. He's got Chris McCullough coming to his bumper. Eberhard throws a block. Jones left out to dry on the bottom. Now Maines will be second. Eberhard going to hang up top. Maines, if he gets a chance to turn left down the hill, you know he's probably going to do it. Jones up to side draft through 3 and 4. Garrett Maines going to have to turn left here off turn number 4 if he wants an opportunity. Still no turn, still no turn. He's going to wait to the last second. Now he goes up top, tries to get topside, fakes him, back to the bottom. Here comes Garrett. Eberhard down across his nose, bumping, banging, contact here in the tri-oval. Who gets the stage win? Daniel Eberhard in the 90. What an opening stage. What a finish, even with 4 cars. And the yellow is out to conclude stage number 1. So Daniel Eberhard in the 90 wins stage number 1. And we will re-rack the field. We'll go take a quick look here at this stage finish coming off turn number 4. Why not? We have a second to look at it. This was good stuff here off turn number 4 between these 4 cars. All the way through the tri-oval. You see Maines fake high, go low. You see they're bumping and banging. Man, there's some significant contact there. And all the way down the line, you see Jones and McCullough. They're door banging as well for third. Oh, that was awfully close. We'll take one more look at it here. Dead even. I mean, a dead heat at the line for stage number 1. So great stuff. And that's only the opening stage of the race. We saw a lot of laps to go. Oh my goodness, John Ward just plowed over top of Garrett Maines. What in the world? And Maines' car is destroyed. What did we just see? Garrett was up against the wall. The field had just caught the pace car at the tail end of the back straightaway. And went off into turn number 3. And Ward, it appeared to be, was getting a lap back. And in the process, just hammered the back of Garrett Maines. And that's going to be a fast repair for Garrett Maines. That car is crab walking. It is skewed off to the left. While they pit here under the caution. Here you go. We were just coming back. There you see Ward, tail end of your screen, all the way down, about halfway down the backstretch. You see the red and black 92. Maines slows down, and I don't know if he just didn't know John Ward was coming or what, but John Ward, oh, see right there, he's trying to go around him. You see at the last second, Ward tries to hang a right and clips him there down the backstretch. Actually, somehow, man, Daniel Eberhard is extremely lucky here. How in the world did Daniel Eberhard escape damage? Because that was, I mean, hypothetically, that incident should have taken both cars. Instead, it only hurts Garrett Maines, and man, I'm at a loss for words. I have no idea what could have possibly happened right there on that exchange. Some kind of miscommunication, and Garrett Maines' car is destroyed. Not how I figured this would go, but nonetheless, Garrett Maines took the fast repair. He's right back up to the front, but that's it for Garrett Maines. He's now at a severe disadvantage here for the remainder of the race. He has no more fast repairs to work with as he exhausts his only fast repair there on the pit stop. So the one car is out of mulligans. This is his one do-over. What a weird, unfortunate break for Garrett Maines. We'll check in on our drivers that have driver cams on for us. And I'll try to make these cuts not awful. Here is the first of those drivers. We'll get him up here. Matt Lee. Running right now in the 9th position. Not the ideal start that he wanted. You have Michael Triscaro right here behind him in 10th. So he awaits this restart. Oh. You have Tony Cox here running, well, he was running 12th. He relinquished his 12th to come to pit road. Good run so far for the driver of the 72. And you have Jeff Merck running back here in 17th. Not the start that he wanted, but still plenty of time. Matthew Baker is back on the lead lap after his unfortunate start to the race. And I'll tell you what, looks awfully calm, cool, collected, and happy here for a man who had the start that he's had so far tonight. But here's it still going generally well for him. And then finally, Cody Nagels just came to pit road. Man, I'll tell you what, these guys all look pretty calm still as we get ready to go back green. So Garrett Maines, after all that just happened under this caution now, after all that, Garrett Maines re-inherits the lead, but at a pretty severe cost as his fast repair is gone for the rest of the night. And he will have to get the job done the hard way here with only one car remaining, over half the race to go. Still 36 to go when we take the green flag. That's 2 pit stops based on the fuel run we saw over on the opening stint, of our race tonight. Still 2 pit stops to go for these drivers here over the final 36 laps, so a lot of work still to be done. A lot still to be decided. At stage 2, getting ready to get underway. Who's going to get the job done on Tuesday night, Thunder? Will Garrett Maines finally see victory lane here in the 1 machine? Will it be one of the other cars in the field? Andrew Navarro, multi-time winner this season. He's looking to get the job done. Same with Daniel Eberhardt. And many others trying to get their first win to get locked into our playoffs at the end of the season. Into the restart zone. 36 laps to go at Talladega. Green flag is back in the air. The one of Garrett Maines. Off and running up through the gears. And off and running is the right phrase. He is gone here on this restart. Andrew Navarro clear as well. Top line struggled to get going behind David Sheets. They have fallen all the way back to 4th here on this restart. They're going to surge here off turn number 2 as the bottom is not quite as connected yet. David Sheets going to begin to surge. Navarro sees it coming. He jumps out from behind Garrett Maines. Sheets, does he go a lane higher? He does, but that leaves the middle open for Eberhardt. Mullahan going up to pick up Sheets. Now decides, nope, that's not going to work. Has to stay in line. Andrew Navarro to the lead here in turn 3. Mogard thought about going to pick up David Sheets. Now Sheets is able to get in front of John Mullahan. A little bit of a shuffle up front, but nonetheless, it stays the same. Andrew Navarro, Garrett Maines lead the field here off turn number 4, and down towards the trial will be 35 laps to go from Talladega. As Andrew Navarro gains the lead here for the first time this evening. We saw a near wreck out of him in the first stage. He was able to get it righted, get it going. Get that thing straightened out. And now he's up here at the front of the field. Garrett Maines wants to challenge him for it, though. And here he comes back to the bottom with the help of Chris McCullough, who's on quite a tear the last couple weeks. We talked about it last week, the momentum that Chris McCullough has begun to pick up over the last couple weeks. He finds himself in position every single night. Tonight, no different at all. The 94, very much in the mix. The NBG cars trying 3 wide further back. That's Merck and Nagels, but nobody willing to go with them so far. I was going to say, if there's anybody that'll go with them, it's Michael Triscaro in the 34, and that's exactly what they do. They're going to go top shelf. They're going to try to make it work. They are coming towards the front. The 34, the Marathon, Team PGR, Chevrolet, rolling here down the front straightaway. He's up to David Sheets already. Michael Triscaro on the move in the 34. He's all the way up to Eberhardt. They're going to have a huge surge. Jeff Merck doing a great job of pushing. They have drawn Cole Fitzpatrick up there with them. Down the Alabama gang super stretch. For the first time tonight, the boss man on Thursdays, Michael Triscaro, pokes the nose of the 34 out front. He is your leader at Talladega. He goes top to bottom. He wants the race lead. Strong, dominant move there by Triscaro. He leads the field in 3. Michael Triscaro, strong run to the front, big surge. Navarro sees the run coming, wants it back, goes right back to the outside. Now Garrett Maines on the back bumper of Michael Triscaro. The 44 out to the lead. Jeff Merck was able to cycle into second in that middle line. Cody Nagels got left out to dry a little bit. He ends up 6th in line in the middle now, further back about in the 11th position. Navarro down across Michael Triscaro. It allows Jeff Merck to lead that top line for the first time tonight. And he's got a heck of a pusher behind him in Daniel Eberhardt. Now that top line begins to surge one more time. Jeff Merck trying to pull alongside Andrew Navarro for the race lead. Bottom side really connected. Navarro, Triscaro, and Garrett Maines. Into 3. Everybody back to 2 wide. 33 laps to go. Make it 32 next time by. Navarro back up in front of Merck. Top line waves around just a little bit. That's going to allow Triscaro to draw even with the 44. Navarro once again off turn number 4 and poke the nose out front one more time. Garrett Maines all over the back of him. Triscaro goes back to the lead. Through the tri-oval, the 34 is going to get a lap lead right here. Navarro, the help is fading a little bit for the driver of the 44, the Premier Racing Setups Toyota Supra. Jeff Merck trying to cool off a little bit after he pushed Triscaro all the way to the front of the field. Now he's got some temps back. He's trying to push the 44 back to the front. Who makes the next big move? It's going to be Cody Nagels, but he has no one to go with him. Dylan Jones not willing to step out of line quite yet. Navarro, a huge surge down the backstretch. He goes to the lead. Merck takes it one step quicker. To the bottom of the racetrack, goes to 60. He's got the lead here once again in turns 3 and 4. He waits on his help, Michael Triscaro. Meanwhile, topside Navarro, Eberhardt, David Sheets, John Mullahan now. Big time shuffles here up front. We're 2 laps short of halfway. Oh, big wiggle on the bottom between Triscaro and Merck. Matt Lee bails to the apron. Navarro's able to clear down in front of Jeff Merck. That leaves Eberhardt, Sheets, Mullahan, and Nagels now to lead the middle line. Down the Alabama gang super stretch one more time. Half a lap till we are at halfway. Eberhardt now surges to the lead down the backstretch into turn number 3. Pushed by David Sheets. Top side, Fitzpatrick and York going to try it here top shelf. Can they make anything happen? Merck, a huge shove to Navarro. He pushes him right back out front. Into the tri-oval, Eberhardt and Navarro continue to battle for the lead. Merck, David Sheets trying to see who's better at getting their guy out front. Meanwhile, Fitzpatrick and York still chipping away. Piece by piece here up on that top side. We're past halfway home at Talladega here. Fitzpatrick and York really starting to make something work up there. I don't know what they figured out, but they figured something out. And they are starting to roll towards the front with only 2 cars. Eberhardt clear down in front of David Sheets. Or excuse me, in front of Navarro. Allows David Sheets to clear into the middle, get cooled off, and have some help here from John Mullahan, his McCullough Motorsports teammate. But now, well, I thought they were going to both go up there, Navarro and Eberhardt, but Eberhardt goes up, Navarro stays down, and then now we'll go 2 wide for the race lead. Jeff Merck is cooled off. He's right back to the back bumper of Andrew Navarro. Trouble further back. Chris McCullough is around into the inside wall. Or maybe did he keep it off the inside wall? What a job by Chris McCullough to keep that car off the inside wall. Up front now, Navarro and Merck will battle for the lead. Here is the driver of the 60, Jeff Merck, wheeling it. And going for the lead here at Talladega Superspeedway. You can tell he's working the wheel. He's very focused here in turns 3 and 4, trying to get a good push from Michael Triscaro in the 34. As he continues to jockey up front. Up top, though, is where the run is. Eberhard Navarro continue to make that middle line work, and now they will both be clear to the bottom. Do they both go down, or do they stay parked? They're going to choose option 2 now. Eberhard drops down to the yellow line, waits on the help of Jeff Merck. A pit stop is coming, probably in about the next 5 or 6 laps for these drivers. And remember, the mistakes that we saw in our first cycle of pit stops, you got to think those are sticking in the back of the minds of those that made a mistake on the first round. Matthew Baker was one of the ones that had a mistake on pit road, and he has made his way to the lead draft. Now it's starting to make some things happen. He's up to 13th. He's got Mike Davenport going with him, and now they're going to wreck. Cole Fitzpatrick is around. Mike Davenport trying to miss it. This is not going to bring out the caution as Fitzpatrick slows to a stop here in the infield grass. Right as I started to talk about Matthew Baker, Fitzpatrick and Baker get together, and the 4 now is rolling once again. But not before he got into the outside wall and slid into the infield grass. And unfortunately, for Matthew Baker, that means he's going to lose the draft a second time in this race. You can see him all the way there, back down the middle of the backstretch right now. It also caused Mike Davenport to lose the draft, and actually Kenny McCullough bailed off to pit road. Eberhard back to the top in front of Sheets. Big move off 4. Oh my goodness, the 90 was pointed sideways. Somehow kept it going and now surges all the way to the race lead. Eberhard back to the lead. 26 to go. Pit stops coming up here shortly. Eberhard going to stay parked on the top. Now drops down to the bottom to the help of Andrew Navarro. Top line very disconnected. Mollahan not really on the back bumper of Sheets quite yet. Allows the bottom to roll through the middle of 1 and 2. Now down the back straightaway. And Navarro clear to the top if he so chooses, but for now chooses to stay parked on the yellow line. The shorter way around this 2.66 mile oval. Eberhard Navarro had pulled out about a half car length lead, which is the strangest thing we've seen all night. Top line starts to once again surge, and Eberhard sees it coming and now jumps up in front of David Sheets. Last time he did this, he almost got turned. This time, able to handle the push a little bit easier. There is the 90. 2 wide for 5 rows, make it 6 as Jared Mogard re-enters the party, as well as Tony Cox and Brock Westmoreland. As we hit 25 laps to go in Tuesday Night Thunder, this one is flying by. Only the stage caution so far. Eberhard back at the bottom in front of Navarro. Sheets once again able to lead the middle. This time a lot better push up on the top side. David Sheets will battle for the race lead here in turns 3 and 4. Eberhard back to the lead. Navarro doing an excellent job keeping him out in the front of the field. Jumps right back up in front of David Sheets. Line management key up here at the front of the field for Daniel Eberhard. Almost got pushed out of line right there by the 06 of Sheets. They try to get lined up. They are racing very hard for a group of cars that I'm almost positive is going to have to make a pit stop here in the next 2 or 3 laps. And from there, if they cannot make it inside of about 16 laps to go, they will have to pit twice. So about another 8 laps needed for you to be able to make it on 1 stop. If not, you're going to have to still make 2. And these guys, they're racing like they don't have to make another pit stop. Down the backstretch, they approach the lap machine of Kenny McCullough Jr., who I believe is already 2 laps down after that unscheduled pit stop. He goes up to the wall, going to let the leaders run on by here on the exit of turn number 4. And he's going to need some serious help here late in the going. A night that has gone off the rails for the driver of McCullough Motorsports. Eberhard continues to lead the way. Navarro continues to be second. 23 laps to go as they flash by the start-finish line. Still too wide, about 6 rows deep now. About to be 7. Brock Westmoreland decides he wants to make something happen. Now Mullahan in behind Michael Triscaro. They're starting to fade to the bottom just a little bit. Mullahan trying to leave a gap for his McCullough teammate David Sheets. He will. Pit stops are approaching here at Talladega, and if you're just joining us, you've joined us at a perfect time. Strategy about to be played out. Who's going to have the best call? Here's they await this second round of green flag pit stops. We saw mistakes on the first round that got bailed out by the stage break. Gotta imagine they are thinking about those mistakes, going to try not to replicate them and hope that they don't need to have a caution like they did in the first stage. Navarro leads. Garrett Maines has gotten back to the back bumper of the 90 of Eberhardt as he pulls back through to the front. Jeff Merck once again leads the top, but not for long. Eberhardt Navarro down in front of the 60, and everybody now is starting to fade into the bottom line. Maines, York, Ward, the only 3 left on the top side as they side draft hard, trying to make something happen to get back down to the bottom. Ooh, almost contact there between Maines and Eberhardt. Eberhardt was washing up on the exit of turn number 2. They get it sorted out. As they come off turn number 4, Maines has gotten all the way even with Andrew Navarro. So Eberhardt starts to push once again and try to trap the 0-2 and the 1 out on the racetrack. Off turn number 4, was anybody hit pit road this time? No. Garrett Maines back to the race lead. But not for very long. He's only got Logan York in behind him right now. Maines and York, man, York is working so hard. Look at how hard the 0-2 is working, trying to get those cars out front because nobody is pulling over and letting them in. They're going to have to get it the hard way. And man, that is a tight side draft there in turns 1 and 2. Now, to be fair, if I trust anybody to take it, it'd be Andrew Navarro and Daniel Eberhardt. I figure they'd be able to handle that kind of side draft. Drivers of their caliber, that's exactly why Garrett Maines is able to make some of these moves that he has made so far. The trust and comfort level you get with some of these drivers as you race them more and more. You can tell no issue tonight. Anybody hit pit road this time by? No takers again. 21 laps to go. Going to be 20. As Navarro goes back to the race lead, now the top side's got some more help. Cody Nagels and John Ward have jumped out to the middle. I'm not sure why it's so late in the run. Here in turns 1 and 2, York and Maines. Now Nagels, he got a few spots and got back in line. Smart racing by Cody Nagels. Got a few spots and then was able to jump in front of his teammate Jeff Merck, who decided to easily pull over and let him in line. John Ward going up and around. He's going to try to get in the backside. Maines and Logan York, they're going to have to try to do the same exact thing. Maines gets in front of Cody Nagels. York, no spots to be found. Off turn 4, here we go. Pit stops. Eberhardt, Navarro. Looks like Merck, Nagels, Jones, Triscaro, and others. Jones loose, locks it down, and gets it to pit road speed. Everybody seems to be good here on this round of pit stops. Only 4 cars left out on the racetrack. Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels, Logan York, John Mullahan, and the lap machine of Kenny McCullough. Cole Fitzpatrick goes a lap down on the 4. As they flash by him. $19 laps to go at Talladega. This group, they may very well try to make it to where they can only make this one more pit stop. Watch out for this group. Let's see how far they go. If they go this lap, I don't think it's going to be possible. And they're coming to pit road. I don't think they can make it on one stop from here, but we'll see. Nagels, Maines, Mullahan, York coming to pit road. Everybody trying not to lock it down. Looks like they all get it down to speed. And now we await this second group. Oh, man. Navarro ended up way far out front of this group. And he is a sit and duck in a big way. And they're going to go right on around him. David Sheets, Dylan Jones. Daniel Eberhardt doesn't even stay down there. John Ward might. He does. Oh, and now David Sheets. Oh, penalty on the 0-6. He's going to have to make a second stop. And look, don't look now. Big run to the front. Here comes the 34 of Michael Triscaro. How in the world? He didn't have any help. And I know you've been asking for it, and now, see if Chris McCullough helps him, but now, with that run to the front, Let's take a look at the driver of the 34, Michael Triscaro. He's locked in, trying to wait on some help. Now he's going to be cycled in behind some more of these cars. Actually, he's going to be cycled all the way up top shelf here. Now he'll be too wide. He's got Jeff Merck coming to him. He'll await some help and drop in behind John Ward. Driver of the 34. Doing good work so far. Maines, Nagels, Mullahan, Jones, trouble! Around goes Logan York in the 0-2, and that wreck will draw the caution flag. Right as we talked about Logan York. And smoke piles out the back of the 0-2. He will have to bring that one down onto the pit lane. This happened right at the tail end of our screen here, off of turn number 4. As they come off of 4, man, Jeff Merck, not really sure if he thought he was clear or what happened there. But Jeff Merck gets into the right rear of Logan York, turns him into the outside wall. And York goes for a slide, actually ends up in the infield grass, and then brings that car right to pit road. As the engine was about to expire, smoke piling out of the back. See if we can get another look at this one. See if we can get the chopper camera, perhaps. Yeah, I think Jeff Merck thought he was clear. And just misjudged the gap. That's what it looks like to me. And unfortunately, that is going to damage the 0-2 Logan York, going to put a heavy damper on his run. An unfortunate incident, but nonetheless a misjudgment by the 60 of Jeff Merck, and Logan York ends up in the infield grass. Oh, split decisions here up front. Staying on the racetrack are Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels, John Mullahan, and John Ward. Everybody else is coming to pit road to top off on gas here under this, our second caution of the night. So Navarro, Jones, Merck, Eberhardt, Triscaro, Mogard, Westmoreland, the rest of the field come to pit road here under this yellow flag. These 4 cars have stayed on the racetrack. They think they have enough to make it to the end of this race. It's right about on the number, so I don't think I blame them. Take the track position and worry about the fuel later. And that's exactly what these 4 have attempted to do. So we await the restart. As there comes the cars that decided to come back, get fuel. No surprise that group that pit last decides to stay on the racetrack and attempt to make this one work. You can save quite a bit in these cars under the yellow flag. It's a big ask to try to save as much as these guys are going to need. And you immediately see Maines, Nagels, down to the flat here in turns 3 and 4. Trying to save as much as possible. Even guys that came to pit road. You see Michael Triscaro and others are also on the flat. Eberhardt, Dylan Jones, also trying to save some gas here. So maybe a little bit more dire straits for these 4 leaders than I had anticipated. Here you see Cody Nagels running alongside Garrett Maines. You can tell he's hard at work talking strategy, as he is one of the ones that opted to stay on the racetrack, and it's a tough decision between track position and being good on fuel, but he has chosen option number 1. He's chosen to stay on the front row and try to make it happen. Try to make that tank last about 18 laps. Now granted, 3 of those are going to be under caution. Will that help him enough to get him enough fuel to be able to run out the last, what's going to be 14 green flag laps in regulation. Remember, 3 overtime attempts should we need them. And with 14 laps to go, if you're one of these 4 drivers up front, you absolutely do not want to see any of those overtimes used. So we'll re-rack the field for you. The front row on this restart will be Garrett Maines and Cody Nagels. Row 2 will be John Mullahan and John Ward. Row 3 will be Dylan Jones and Daniel Eberhardt. Row 4 it'll be Andrew Navarro and Michael Triscaro. And row 5 it'll be Tony Cox and Danny Eschleman. A lot of guys up here could win their first race of the season. In fact, we'll get a quick idea of points here before we go back under the green flag. New points leader after last week is the 31 of Garrett Maines, your race leader. No wins, but a 5-point lead over Andrew Navarro, a 2-time winner. Daniel Eberhardt, Dylan Jones, Kenny McCullough, Matthew Baker, and Jason Maines have also won this season. Everybody else, including our points leader Garrett Maines, has yet to win in this season. Still awaiting their first wins to lock them into that postseason. Can anybody get their first win of the season here tonight? We'll find out in about 14 laps. Pace car is down. The field is in the hands of the 31 of Garrett Maines. Who's got enough fuel? Who's got the right moves in them tonight to get the job done and go to victory lane in Tuesday Night Thunder? Into the restart zone. 14 laps to go at Talladega. Green flag is back in the air, and back up through the gears they go. Drag race into turn number 1. Advantage bottom side. Mullahan to the back bumper of Cody Nagels immediately. John Ward not quite to Garrett Maines yet. The 6 may very well get clear for the first time tonight to the race lead, and he will. Right up in front of Garrett Maines goes the 6 of Cody Nagels. Looking to get a big win tonight in Tuesday Night Thunder. Another one of the drivers that does not have a victory, not locked into that postseason yet. Would love to get the job done tonight, get that out of the way, and be locked in for that championship pot at the end of the season. Nagels versus Mullahan. Mullahan pushed by Daniel Eberhardt. Huge push on the bottom. Mullahan may get clear to the lead here in the 2. He will. Up in front of Nagels goes the 2. Now keep that carousel going on the bottom. Now it's Eberhardt Navarro once again back to the race lead here off turn number 4. The 2 most dominant cars of the night. Now back here 1 and 2 on the bottom. Mullahan, Nagels, Maines, Ward up top. Danny Eschleman has made his way into the party here late. 34 out of line. That's Michael Triscaro. He's in the middle now trying to make hay. Brock Westmoreland coming with him. Mullahan down back to the bottom in front of Daniel Eberhardt. Cody Nagels, Garrett Maines, John Ward now commandeer the top side. Here comes Nagels with the help of Garrett Maines in the 1. Bottom side continues to surge. Mullahan and Eberhardt. Does Eberhardt get clear here in 3 and 4? Do Maines and Nagels have something to say about it? Through 3 and 4, it's only those 2 cars. Mullahan bobbles a little bit there in the middle of 3 and 4. Now back up in front of Cody Nagels. Oh, trouble! Mullahan around and into Eberhardt. Somehow, both cars keep it going. We're 4 wide here for a brief moment as Mullahan tries to get it back going. Now the run is up top with John Ward and Mike Davenport. PGR all of a sudden. Both drivers lined up and in the top shelf. How in the world did Daniel Eberhardt keep that car going straight? Both of them really, but Daniel Eberhardt was about 90 degrees to the left and somehow got that car rolling the right direction. 3 wide up front now as they start to scramble for the race lead. Garrett Maines waiting on help. He's got some coming from Dylan Jones and Jaron Mogard, but it's not going to be enough to hold off the advance of John Ward, or is it? It will. John Ward, Mike Davenport, Michael Triscaro, Brock Westmoreland up in the top side. Bottom side is now Nagels, Navarro, Mullahan, Eschleman, Sheets. A reminder that David Sheets is still a lap down, still suffering from that penalty he received on our second round of green flag pit stops. 11 laps to go at Talladega. Nagels continues to lead here, but here comes Garrett Maines. Topside now just Ward and Davenport as Triscaro bailed out and got to the middle behind Jared Mogard. Mogard, by the way, is once again in the 3rd row. The 0-0, another impressive showing. Down the back straightaway, nobody willing to go 3 wide besides Ward and Davenport. That is music to these first 2 lines' ears right now. Main's trying to draw even with Cody Nagels, but the push is on the bottom. Nagels, great help from Andrew Navarro. He's up in front of Maines. That allows Andrew Navarro to cool down that 44 here for a little bit. It'll also allow him to draw even for the race lead. Now Maines pushing on the back of Cody Nagels. Nobody else willing to jump up third line yet. Merck thought about it, but he's a little bit too far back to make anything happen. 10 laps to go in Tuesday Night Thunder. Cody Nagels continuing to lead the way in front of Garrett Maines. Maines almost got his car clear to the bottom of the racetrack, and I guarantee you he would have hung the left in front of Andrew Navarro if he had gotten clear at that moment. Regardless, now he has to be content pushing the 6 and wait to make a move here in just a moment. Navarro draws even down the back straightaway with a push from John Mullahan. Third line starting to work. Merck got to the back of the 55. Now we got a party up in the top shelf. All of a sudden, Merck. Oh, trouble! Jared Mogard is around, and we're going to wreck big behind the leaders. Caution flag is out. Debris flies everywhere, and now the big one strikes to the back of the field. And unfortunately, the driver of the 34, Michael Triscaro, is involved in the wreck. As is Mogard, as is Eberhardt. Daniel Eberhardt. And he goes right to his pit box. It's the 90 machine, a tough break. A huge blow to his chances tonight. The dominant car of the night now sits on the pit lane. We'll go back and take a look what happened. Jared Mogard got out of shape. That was the first thing I saw. And yeah, you already see how off-center these two cars are. Mogard and the 90 of Daniel Eberhardt. We'll see if we can get a little bit better angle of it here. There we go. That's going to really show you how far off-center the 90 gets. They just started a party up in the third line. Mogard had actually just pulled out a line in front of Daniel Eberhardt, and the run is huge. And as Eberhardt tries to square up, he's going to collect the left rear just a little bit right there. You see the contact between the 00 and the 90. 00 down the racetrack. There's Triscaro, nowhere to go. Chris McCullough, nowhere to go in the 94. Same with John Ward and Mike Davenport. And huge contact for David Sheets and Daniel Eberhardt. Tony Cox is involved. Jeff Merck scoots on by. Tough break for Daniel Eberhardt. Slides back down and was hardly able to even get the car rolling. Take a couple more looks at this one. The first big one of the night here. Inside of 10 laps to go. See, it starts down there. You think Eberhardt, if you're Eberhardt, you probably think you're past him, but then you get hit by John Ward, and this is huge contact for several cars. David Sheets spins like a top, rolls down the banking. Eberhardt pins John Ward to the outside wall. There you see Triscaro, Mogard, and Chris McCullough and Tony Cox further back. And Kenny McCullough just bails out of the throttle. And really, I think just comes to a stop here on the apron of turns 3 and 4. Waits for the carnage to kind of roll out of the way into the infield grass. My goodness. Take one more look at it. Mogard hooked off the bumper of Daniel Eberhardt, and if you're Eberhardt right there, there's not really much you can do. The run is so big, you have to just guess where Mogard's going to go there on entry, how far he's going to be off the wall, and try to time up that push where you maybe don't get in the left rear, and right there, just unlucky, he doesn't quite guess correctly, and it ends up piling up several of our dominant cars here in turns 3 and 4. Late in the going, and Eberhardt continues to sit on the pit lane. After all that, it'll be 6 laps to go, and we go back under the green flag, and Andrew Navarro is the race leader here under our third caution of the evening. Cody Nagels will restart second. John Mullahan, Garrett Maines on row 2. Danny Eshelman, Dylan Jones on row 3. Brock Westmoreland, Logan York on row 4. And then Jeff Merck and Chris McCullough will round out the top 10. Cole Fitzpatrick is back on the lead lap by virtue of missing that wreck and getting the lucky dog. So the 4 car is back in the fight. All the other cars laps down are multiple laps down at this point in the race. Matt Lee and I thought David Sheets, he was off the scoring for a moment, but he is still on track. Matt Lee, the only car to retire from the race, I believe. And yes, he has called it a night in the 0-4. But Kenny McCullough, Mark Vondell, Daniel Eberhardt, Matthew Baker, David Sheets all laps down here. So we get ready to go back under the green flag. Angel Navarro, 1.5 of the most dominant cars of the day, still on the racetrack, still on the point, looking for his 3rd win of this season in Tuesday Night Thunder, the only man to win more than 1 race so far this season. He's got 2 already, and looking here to go for win number 3. The other drivers with wins, obviously some of them involved in that incident, Daniel Eberhardt and Chris McCullough. Matthew Baker's had his struggles all night. Jason Main's not in attendance here this evening. And Dylan Jones, he runs 5th, looking for win number 2. He's actually looking to go back-to-back. Kenny McCullough, similar to Baker, has had his struggles all night long as he'll be battling for the lucky dog here on this restart. So only 2 of our former winners here are inside the top 10, and that means this could be a prime opportunity for someone to get their first victory of the season and lock into the postseason. Pace car is down. Navarro looking to play spoiler to that, get his 3rd win of the year and continue the incredible stretch he has been on. He leads the way with what's going to be 6 laps to go. It is crunch time. It is time to make your move. It's time to make your bed for the end of the race. Green flag is back in the air. We're back underway from Talladega. Navarro, Nagels, drag race towards turn number 1. Navarro's got help from Garrett Maines. Nagels has help from John Mullahan. Top line connected already. Maines and Jones, the back bumper of the 44 of Navarro. He pulls about a half car length in front of Cody Nagels as Nagels awaits his help. Will be a drag race down the backstretch, but that top line is really rolling here on the exit of turn number 2. Who makes the first big move to try to get to the race lead? Down the back straightaway, headed towards turn number 3. Navarro continuing to lead. Does he drop to the bottom? No. Hangs in front of Garrett Maines in the 1. If there's anybody on the racetrack that's going to make that move right there, it's Garrett Maines. I was wondering if he was going to hang a left to the bottom. He does. New leader, Garrett Maines. Does he go up and does he go down and up? Let's see. Nope, not able to. Navarro gets back to his right rear. Nope, actually not quite. He could have. But stays down in front of Cody Nagels, and that's because 3rd line's rolling in the middle is fading. Navarro and Jones alone in the middle. Topside, Logan York in the 0-2. Where did he come from? Logan York trying to play spoiler, play upset here on a Tuesday night in the 0-2. Chris McCullough, John Ward going with him. They're making hay up in that top line. Maines now leads the middle in front of Andrew Navarro. He got up. Cody Nagels waiting on John Mullahan as that 3rd line begins to close in. Logan York is up to 4th. He's up to 3rd. He's going to be dead even with the leaders in 3 wide for the race lead with 5 laps to go. Nagels out of shape. Maines out of shape. Everybody's out of shape. Still 3 by 3. McCullough trying to push York forward. For the first time, the 0-2 pokes the nose out front and clears across. Garrett Maines, not quite. Too early. And now York will get split 4 wide. He's going backwards. He mistimed his run. Mullahan gets hit out of line. York bullied his way back in 3 wide. He's now 3rd in the middle. And now after all that, Maines maintains the lead somehow. Navarro, oh, trouble! Around goes Dylan Jones, Chris McCullough, Logan York, and others. They pile it up down the back straightaway. A second large incident here. And the engine is expired on the 94. Excuse me, it may have been on the 11 of Jones. Last week's winner, Dylan Jones, involved. And another big incident is going to send us into overtime. This all started after the scramble where Logan York got back in line. And then off turn number 2, you're going to see Dylan Jones get way out of shape here. He is going immediately to the pit lane. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to the 11 of Dylan Jones here off turn number 2. Right rear netco between he and Chris McCullough. Jones up into the outside wall. He's going to hit it a ton. Almost goes up and over. You see McCullough come back down. He's going to collect Logan York. They collect John Mullahan. Chris McCullough collects Michael Triscaro and Danny Eschleman. Jared Mogard collected there in the 0-0. Jones, man, he got hammered. I can't tell for the life of me which car that was, but somebody destroyed the 11 car. McCullough there sliding. Cole Fitzpatrick has major front-end damage. I almost wonder if that's the car here. Vondell, Mark Vondell there on the left side of your screen also has significant front-end damage. I think one of those two cars might have been the one that hit Dylan Jones. Try to get a better look at it here. McCullough's coming down the racetrack. I'm not sure. Maybe he thought Dylan Jones had gone to the bottom. Jones almost up and over. I really would like a little bit better look at this just to see who hammers him. Here we go. He slides back down. Daniel Eberhard, who just got back out on the racetrack, trying to bail out of the way, and it's Fitzpatrick, and oh my goodness. A monster hit for the 4 of Cole Fitzpatrick right in the door of Dylan Jones. Tony Cox, I think, gets away from this. We're going to take an onboard ride with the 72. How in the world did he make that happen? One more look. We'll go from Tony Cox. I want to see for sure. He's running the tail end of the field. Let's see if we can get his angle of this one up here. Here's the driver of the 72. Let's see what he saw on this one. You see them start wrecking up there on the middle of your screen. Jones coming down the racetrack. And Cox hangs a left the last possible second. And somehow misses that wreck. And so overtime it is here at Talladega Superspeedway, the first of 3 attempts at an overtime finish. And now the question is, if you're Garrett Maines, if you're Cody Naegels, if you're John Mullahan, if you're John Ward, is there enough gas in the tank to make one or potentially multiple overtime attempts? They pit with about 18 laps to go and stayed out under the caution flag. Trying to make something happen, trying to just play a different strategy, keep track position, and put themselves in this position. Be in a spot where you could win the race. Michael Triscaro has actually stayed on the racetrack here with a considerable amount of damage. See if he hits pit road this time. Wow, the rear end is missing off the 34. We'll see what he decides to do. Daniel Eberhard bails for pit road. He is not back on the lead lap quite yet. Dylan Jones, Cole Fitzpatrick have gone multiple laps down, as they continue to get damage repaired on their machines. And so, under our 4th caution of the night, it'll be overtime. Garrett Maines still looking for that elusive first win of the season. In a prime position to do so now. Andrew Navarro looking for win number 3 behind them. Cody Naegels, John Ward, John Mullahan, Michael Triscaro, Danny Eschleman, Mike Davenport, Brock Westmoreland, Jared Mogard, Jeff Merck, Tony Cox. Every lead lap car besides Andrew Navarro has yet to win this season. All 13 lead lap cars outside of Andrew Navarro have yet to win a race. I take that back. It's actually all but one. Navarro and Kenny McCullough, who currently runs 13th. 12 of the 14 lead lap cars have yet to win a race. And you got to go all the way back to 13th to find the other one besides Andrew Navarro. So Navarro, the cards are not for him right here. Not a good hand to be dealt. If you're Andrew Navarro, you know he finds a way to win these kinds of races, and he's done so already this season, but tonight, with the cards stacked against him with this many hungry drivers behind him looking for win number one, and the way these drivers are lined up, it's going to be a tough ask here for Andrew Navarro, but will he get the job done? Overtime attempt number one of potential 3. We are past regulation on Tuesday Night Thunder. And here we go. Pace car is down the field in the hands of the one of Garrett Maines. Into the trial with this long crawl into the restart zone. And here we go. Maines, Navarro, Nagels, Ward. Who's going to get the job done? Green flag is back in the air from Talladega. 2 laps to go. Maines a huge jump. Does he go up in front of Andrew Navarro? Not yet. Going to keep it parked on the bumper of Cody Nagels. Nagels, will he get enough of a run to get clear now? Maines, yep, he saw that coming. Goes up in front of Navarro now. Nagels will surge with help from John Mullahan. Top line going to be very fast here, but the field is so spread out. Michael Triscaro, they're going to have to go around the 34. He's holding up that outside line. Down the backstretch, Garrett Maines re-inherits the lead. All of Cody Nagels' help is bailed on him. Maines goes to the bottom, tries to drag the 6 along with him. That's going to allow Navarro to go right back to the race lead. Off turn number 4, it's 2v2. Who's the first to make a big move? It's Brock Westmoreland in the 7. Jeff Merck goes with him. Where can they go with only 2 cars? They've got a nice run, but they're going to need another car, I think. Through the trial, Navarro versus Maines. Nagels versus Ward is the pushers. White flag, 1 more lap to go. Westmoreland, Merck trying to make it happen. Now Davenport goes to the top side with them. They've got Eberhard in tow. Where do these cars go? Drag race between Maines and Navarro. Maines around on the bumper of Nagels. Keeps it going. Navarro to the race lead. John Ward in back. Here comes Brock Westmoreland. He's got a huge run. Up down the Alabama Gang super stretch for the final time. John Mullahan is squeezed through the gap. Now Navarro down to block the 2. John Ward leads the middle. He's got huge help from Daniel Eberhard. Up top side, look out for Brock Westmoreland. Mullahan into the 90 of Eberhard. Westmoreland, Merck trying to make something happen. Trouble. Around they go behind the leaders. Huge wreck. Drag race between these 2. Where did Matthew Baker come from? Who does he choose to push? He goes to the 44 Navarro. Drag race all the way through the trial. This one's going to be decided. 3-time winner Andrew Navarro wins Tuesday Night Thunder. I told you he finds a way to win these races. The 44, again, finds a way to get the job done. He's a 3-time winner now this season, and it's because of moments like that. Garrett Maines denied once again. He crosses the line in 7th. What a finish to Tuesday Night Thunder. We'll go through your finishing results as we wait on the top 3 to get settled down, get set up for interviews. We'll go through your finishing results here briefly. Andrew Navarro having a dominant season to say the least. He may retake the points lead after tonight with this, a 3rd victory on the season. He gets the job done. John Ward finishes 2nd. And Kenny McCullough Jr. somehow drives through the chaos on the last lap to finish in the 3rd position. Cody Nagels finishes 4th. Danny Eshelman in 5th. Logan York in 6th. Garrett Maines finishes 7th. Michael Triscaro in 8th. Mike Davenport 9th. And Jared Mogard finishes in 10th. John Mullahan finishes 11th. Tony Cox 12th. Brock Westmoreland 13th. Jeff Merck 14th. Matthew Baker 15th. Mark Vondell in 16th. Eberhard 17th. Dylan Jones 18th. David Sheets finishes 19th. Chris McCullough in 20th. And the last 2 cars, Cole Fitzpatrick in 21st and Matt Lee in 22nd. We're still waiting on a couple of your top 3, so while we do wait on them to get set, we will go look at the finish of the race and everything that happened on that last lap. as we wait for a couple of our top three to get set to go for interviews. What a last lap it was. And so here we go. They took the white flag and raced off towards turn number 1, and the first wreck is actually going to happen here in turn 1, I think, with Garrett Maines. And there you see a bumper hook, and somehow both those cars keep going. They scrambled out of the backstretch. I thought for sure down the back straightaway that Brock Westmoreland and Jeff Merck were going to have their run to beat. Navarro blocks Mullahan, who hung a left out of line, and then the big wreck happens here behind them with Daniel Eberhardt and others. Maines in the back of the 90. That hooks him down the racetrack, and he cannot save it this time. Goes up into Brock Westmoreland, and then comes back down across Garrett Maines. And they are going to collect Brock Westmoreland in a big way. Jeff Merck collected. Westmoreland up in airborne. Nagels, McCullough actually bang doors and get through it. Garrett Maines involved. There you see Dylan Jones, David Sheets. Mike Davenport involved. Tony Cox involved. Mark Von Dell. Big wreck there on the front straightaway, and after all of that, Andrew Navarro got some help from Matthew Baker, the lap machine here, and ends up securing the win. And you realize when you have no help, there's not much you can do if you're John Ward, and unfortunately, that's exactly what happens. We're going to get into your top three. We're still waiting on John Ward, so let me see if I can get him working over this way. And we'll get on to your post-race interviews here, your post-race show for Tuesday Night Thunder. And we will start with a man who finished in third position tonight. Man who had the most up and down night, I think, of almost anybody in the field, and that is the 0-3 of Kenny McCullough Jr. Let me make sure our audio is all set to go, all squared away. And we will get right to it. Hey, Kenny, it's Dawson up in the booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, an up and down night for you, to say that the absolute least. It was a roller coaster. We saw you lap down a couple times tonight after the first cycle of pit stops, but all in all, it ends up pretty good. You end up on the podium, third position here tonight. You're going home with a nice payout, and you continue that momentum here as you continue the momentum of the season. What a season it's been for you. Take me through your night. How'd you do it?
Man, that situation with Ward up there and Garrett, when they wrecked into each other, I just kind of lost all concentration. I had the lucky dog. I pitted, come back around, didn't take no gas, so I was just, I started off bad. But, man, I got lucky there and come back, got a good finish out of it.
Yeah, you did, and you continue your momentum here this season. We've seen you really work into quite a bit of a tear here as we go through this season of Tuesday Night Thunder. You know, kind of take us through how you've gotten to where you're at so far this season. Obviously, pretty high in points. You've got the win, so you're locked into the postseason. Just, is it the cars? Is it just the the racing that Tuesday Night Thunder provides? How have you gotten to this point in the season, doing so well and having so much momentum?
Haven't had the best of luck, but the last 2 weeks I've actually clicked onto the Toyota by accident, and I think I finished second and third tonight. So I think I might have to make a paint scheme for the Toyota.
Well, I have to see if that shows up here next Tuesday night for sure. While I have you up here for a second, it's a third-place finish for you tonight. Anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you for doing the broadcast, man. You do a hell of a job. And thank Ron for putting this thing on. Thank all them teammates and all the fans that come out and watch us.
All right, well, congratulations on that third-place finish. Go celebrate, go enjoy it, and we will see you next week.
Yes, sir, brother. Thank you.
Kenny McCullough, your third-place finisher tonight, leads us to the man who finished in the second position, the 92 for Hyper Motorsports, Mr. John Ward. We'll see what he's got to say about his efforts here tonight. Hey, John Ward, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Dawson.
It's a great night for you overall. We saw you up front quite a bit. You're in the mix there at the end. You come home second. Take us through your night. How'd you get to a second place finish?
Overall, it was a strange race. A lot of people were talking over the mics, a lot of confusion, and people were arguing. But overall, it was a good race. There wasn't a whole lot of yellows. I missed the start after the stage break. I got my laps back, and somehow I got into Garrett. I don't know if y'all got that on the broadcast, but he had to take his fast repair when I was coming around. Well, we got that all straightened out. Eventually, I got up towards the front there, was running a good race, had some help. Got caught up in one wreck. I had to use my fast repair. Other than that, we stayed pretty clean. Other than that, just up front for most of the point at the end. And when they had that big wreck behind me, I knew me and Andrew were good. So I wish Baker would have pushed me to the win, but it's fine. Second place, I'm happy with that.
Absolutely, and now some forward momentum for you here as we get closer and closer to that postseason. It's a great points night for you here tonight. So just take me through what this does for your momentum here going forward on Tuesday nights.
Yep, yeah, that's a real momentum booster and all. Last week, I think I missed the event, which I'm not hurting that bad. But, yeah, this puts me a good spot for the play. I think I'm locked in. But I have no teammates in this series at all, so it's just me in here. And I'm working with, some friends of mine. But overall, that gives me a good boost, and hopefully I can get it done in the championship race and all coming up.
Well, absolutely. Well, I have you here for a second. It's a second place finish for you here tonight at Talladega. So while I have you, anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
I just thank Ron and you guys for putting this on. My team, they wasn't in there. They always support me and stuff. And just looking forward to finishing out the season on a good note.
All right. Well, congratulations on a second place finish tonight. A fantastic run for you. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. And we will see you next week.
Thank you, Dawson.
John Ward in the 92, the man who finished second. And now we go to the man of the hour, the man in victory lane for the third time this season, the only multi-time winner in Tuesday Night Thunder. He extends that lead tonight with his third win of the year, the 44 of Andrew Navarro. Hey, Andrew, it's Dawson in the booth. You get a copy?
Yeah.
Well, we're getting used to this, and I'm sure that you can't possibly be upset when you're back in victory lane here at Talladega for the third time this season. You are in victory lane on Tuesday Night Thunder. Take me through your night, but specifically that last run of the finish, how crazy that got to scramble there to the end and how you managed to get out the other end and back in victory lane.
I don't really know how I ended up. I played the restart right. I stayed up in the middle. I kind of knew, I don't know who it was that actually went under me, but I knew they were going to have a little bit of a stall, and then obviously the wreck happened at the end. So just a interesting race. Had a lot of fun, and can't be mad with winning.
Well, not at all, and you're the only man that can say they've won more than once this season. This is the third win of the year for you, so just, kind of take me through how this success feels. I mean, what a successful year it's been for you. By far the most dominant car here on Tuesday nights, so take me through how that's felt. Take me through kind of where you go from here as we get prepared for the playoffs.
It's definitely nice to, win races that are somewhat of a lottery. I work with great guys, even though I might not work with the same people every race. Just executing one race at a time. And, I'm somebody that kind of hides in the back. In this race, I took a whole different approach. I kind of tried to stay up front. We couldn't do that. We almost lost the draft, or we did lose the draft, actually, in the first stage. But, just going to try to roll into the momentum into the playoffs and hopefully win more money.
All right, well, it's another victory for you here tonight, your third of the season. So while I have you for a second, anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Celebrate Cruises, Premier Racing Setups, Adrenaline Captures, everybody that I've worked with in these things. You for broadcasting and Ron for putting on the league.
All right, well, congratulations on your third victory of the season. Go enjoy it, go celebrate, and we will see you next Tuesday night.
Thank you.
Andrew Navarro, your victory here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. What a win it is, his third of the season. I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight on a Tuesday night. Hope you enjoyed the product here tonight. It was a heck of a race, a crazy race with a crazy finish, a bad scramble to the end, and somehow, some way, Andrew Navarro finds a way to get back in victory lane for the third time this season. That's going to just about do it for us here on the Ghost Racing Network. I hope you have enjoyed. Come back on Thursday night, PGR Thursday Night Heat, the Fall Brawl marquee event on Thursday night. Mark your calendar, a guaranteed $500 payday to the winner of that race. No matter how many trucks we get, we're paying $500 to the winner, and that is going to be a heck of an event. All the big hitters, all the big names, all the people you know and love are going to be in that event, so do not miss it. Here on the Ghost Racing Network, going to be Austin and Baker on the call as per the usual on Thursday night. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's Tuesday Night Thunder production. We'll be back with you next Tuesday night for another edition of Tuesday Night Thunder with myself and Austin Green. I've been Dawson Wise. I've been bringing you all the action here on the Ghost Racing Network. Everybody have a great night. Have a great week.